Episode 2 begins with the maid entering the room where the 15-year-old young lord was sleeping, afflicted by an illness that worsened his body despite the good medicines and treatments. The maid, believing even the heavens had forsaken the young lord, she was shocked to find young lord sitting up in bed and promptly fled. The father was then informed of his son's condition. The lord, filled with joy, went to see him. However, in the living room, the Fox King realized he had been reincarnated when he woke to the sound of a woman screaming. He looked in the mirror, surprised by his appearance, and wondered why he didn't start as a baby in his reincarnation. At that moment, burst of memories flooded his mind, revealing that the young lord was born as the eldest son of the lord of a vast merchant district called Kaon-Hajag, named Ha Yunho. Yunho's name was the same as the Yakai Fox King's, yet his physical and mental strength were weak. Shocked by his mother's death a year prior, he ceased eating and drinking, eventually succumbing to a chronic illness after collapsing and recuperating, and eventually died. The young lord, now the reincarnated Fox King, is determined to overcome his frail condition and explore the mysteries of new life. The Fox King, once a powerful ruler in the Yakai realm, found himself trapped in the shell of a weak human who had died from illness. This enraged him. His anger towards Tathagata, whoever that may be, burned fiercely. But then, a wave of dizziness hit him, and he collapsed onto the floor. Regaining his senses, the Fox King seethed at his predicament. Yet, a new thought emerged. He was in control of this body now. Through sheer willpower and natural power, he could make it strong again. There was hope. Hunger gnawed at him. He scanned the room, searching for something to eat. Suddenly, the lord, his new father, entered. Overjoyed to see his son standing on his own 2 feet, the lord rushed to him, concern etched on his face. He inquired about his son's health. Finally, the Fox Yakai, the king of the Yakai realm, realizing the importance of moving forward, even if it was belated. In a moment of unconscious surrender, the Fox King found himself calling the man father. The lord, Ha Jinyu, acknowledged him with a warm yes. He then ordered the nanny to bring food. The Fox King, as a Yakai, had only tasted human food a few times out of curiosity. Each time, it was a painful experience, leaving a bitter taste in his mouth. Now, with no other choice, he braced himself for the familiar bitterness. But as the first bite touched his tongue, a wave of surprise washed over him. Not only was the food devoid of bitterness, but it was also incredibly delicious. "Can I have more of this?" he blurted out, devouring the food like a famished beast. Perhaps, he thought, there was such a thing as a good start after all. His father threw a party for his son awake from sickbed. News of the young lord's recovery spread quickly. Outside, a young girl, curious about the commotion, inquired about the noise. A maid informed her that her older brother had awakened from his illness. The girl, dropping everything in her excitement, raced towards her brother's room. We had seen him running around the inner region every day. The guards were talking amongst themselves about how he'd been acting strangely since he woke up, as if possessed by something. One guard mentioned he overheard the servants say that besides mealtimes with the lord, the young lord was always running around like that before sitting on the courtyard bench, lost in thought. Another scoffed, having his own thoughts, my foot. Others can memorize the 1,000-character classic in just a couple of months, but it took him over a year. He's not running around because he's some deep thinker. Though everyone remained silent on the surface, those who knew better harbored similar suspicions. Just then, Chief Guard Mr. Zhang entered the room. "What kind of things can't be said behind someone's back?" he boomed. "At least watch your mouths when it comes to those who provide your livelihood." He then exited and headed towards the inner region, where he saw the young lord running. The young lord, now known as the eunuch, fumed. Even after absorbing natural chi for nearly 2 weeks, he couldn't gather enough internal chi in this damned body. The flow of natural chi seemed blocked by layers of man-made restrictions. He tried to leave, but the guards prevented him. Fury boiled within him. If I were still a Yakai, he thought, they'd all be dead. Yunho relented and focused more on catching the flow of natural chi. Suddenly, Somi, his younger sister, who adored him, burst in. She had cried incessantly when he first woke up and visited him whenever she could. Unfortunately, her presence was one of the factors hindering his chi absorption. Somi offered Yunho snacks and sweets, freshly brought from the marketplace. Famished, Yunho devoured them with gusto, realizing how much he savored human food. Somi, sensing a change in her brother, remarked that he didn't used to like such sweetness. Yoonho simply stated that she would witness many new sides of him from now on. Somi reassured him that she loved him unconditionally but pleaded with him to stay healthy. At dinner, Yoonho reveled in the elaborate spread of land, sea, and air delicacies. He mused that the beast yokai would weep at the sight of such a feast. Embracing his human form, he devoured the meal with relish. Somi, however, couldn't help but feel a growing unease about her brother's behavior. The Lord joined them, and as soon as his father sat down, Yoonho devoured a whole fish in one bite, thoroughly enjoying the meal. Afterward, the Lord summoned Yoonho to the meeting room. Pleased with his son's apparent chair recovery, the Lord suggested Yoonho return to the academy. Yoonho's heart pounded. Is the academy outside the main courtyard? He inquired. The Lord confirmed this, providing Yoonho with the perfect excuse to venture outside. Ecstatic, Yoonho agreed to go the next day. He even sipped hot tea without a second thought, a stark contrast to his previous behavior. Yoonho wasn't your typical prodigy. Unlike others, who devoured Confucian and mentioned teachings, Yoonho's understanding seemed innate. Yet, his father harbored doubts about his gentle nature. Yoonho's daily excursions to the academy were a carefully crafted excuse. The true purpose, to escape the confines of the main courtyard and immerse himself in nature. This was where Yoonho practiced accumulating cha, an ancient concept of vital energy. As he inhaled deeply, he could almost feel the cha coursing through his body. With each passing day, Yoonho felt lighter, stronger. He'd playfully test his newfound abilities with exuberant jumps and bursts of speed. Finally, a sense of true joy bloomed within him. Back home, Yoonho's father confided in Mr. Jang, a wise family friend. Can Yoonho truly lead the family? He questioned. His kind heart makes him a precious child, but perhaps not a strong leader. Mr. Jang, however, urged patience. He is young yet, he assured Yoonho's father. His kindness is a strength, not a weakness. With time and experience, he will learn to make difficult decisions while holding on to his compassion. Yoonho's father, though hesitant, found solace in Mr. Jang's words. A flicker of hope ignited within him, a belief that Yoonho might yet surprise them all.
Hey, everyone, I have some exciting news. My birthday is coming up soon, and I'd love to reach 1,000 subscribers on my channel. It's almost at 600 subscribers, and reaching 1,000 would be a fantastic birthday gift. I'd be thrilled if you could subscribe and help me reach this goal. It would make me really happy.
Yoonho's father's heart lurched as a guard burst in, announcing his son's unexpected return from the Hanchang Academy. The image that greeted him was far from the composed student he'd sent off. Yoonho's clothes were dusty and askew, his face flushed with a mix of exertion and indignation. Alarmed, his father demanded an explanation. Had Yoonho been robbed or worse, scammed by unscrupulous merchants preying on unsuspecting young scholars? Yoonho, usually radiating a gentle demeanor, hung his head sheepishly. Father, he mumbled, I've been expelled. The news struck Yoonho's father like a physical blow. Expelled, the prestigious Hanchang Academy. He exchanged a bewildered look with Mr. Jang, a trusted family friend who was present. A tense silence hung in the air before Yoonho blurted out an explanation. Scholar Nim, a respected figure at the academy, arrived to provide further context. There was a misunderstanding, Scholar Nim began, his voice measured. Yoonho uses the term fight, but it was more of a duel with mutual consent. Yoonho's father stared at Scholar Nim, his mind struggling to comprehend the situation. His son, barely recovered from a debilitating illness, engaging in a duel. It defied logic. Scholar Nim, sensing his disbelief, continued. Yoonho exhibited surprising agility during the exchange. It was clear he possessed some martial arts training, which he hadn't disclosed Chu's niche previously. Yoonho's father's gaze darted back to his son, his expression unreadable. Taking a deep breath, Yoonho finally spoke. Father, he said, his voice thick with a mix of shame and defiance. He did it. At the academy, I endured constant taunts and insults for my struggles with the academic curriculum. I tried to ignore them, not wanting to cause trouble, especially after just returning. A flicker of anger crossed his father's face, quickly replaced by concern. Yoonho continued, his voice rising slightly. But he choked back a sob, they crossed a line. They insulted my mother, may she rest in peace, and even you, father. I couldn't take it anymore. They had no right to disrespect our family. The air crackled with tension. Yuno's normally gentle eyes burned with a newfound intensity. It was clear that despite his expulsion, a part of him felt a strange sense of vindication. He had defended his honor and his family's, even if it meant defying the expectations placed upon him. Seeing the fire in his son's eyes, a flicker of pride ignited within Yuno's father. Despite the expulsion, there was a newfound determination in Yunho that resonated with him. Yunho declared his intention to continue his studies independently and stormed out. Left alone with Mr. Jiang, Yuno's father sought his friend's counsel. Mr. Jiang offered a different perspective. He fought for a reason, he explained, for his family's honor. And throughout the ordeal, he maintained his core values. Outside the main courtyard, a guard surprised Yunho by informing him that he was now free to come and go as he pleased, even during mornings. This unexpected freedom granted him more time to pursue his hidden passion. He ventured into the mountains, seeking solitude to better absorb the natural qi. Here, he practiced with renewed focus. His body, no longer trembling or gasping for breath, flowed smoothly with the natural energy. Finally, he was making true progress. The expulsion, a humiliation at first, now seemed like a turning point. Free from the academy's constraints, Yunho was on a path of self-discovery, one that embraced both scholarly pursuits and the burgeoning martial prowess within him. In the main courtyard, Yunho's father sat him down for a conversation. He posed a question, inquiring about what Yunho perceived as the most important thing for a man. Yunho, heavily influenced by his recent experiences with the power of money, promptly replied that it was indeed money. Having witnessed firsthand how money could elevate one's standing and influence, Yunho believed it to be the ultimate key to success. His father, however, gently steered him towards a different perspective. While acknowledging the importance of money, he emphasized the significance of possessing the strength to protect oneself, even surpassing the need to safeguard wealth. He explained that possessing good health was the foundation for rebuilding everything, even in the face of losing everything else. Yunho, intrigued by the prospect of learning martial arts, readily agreed to his father's suggestion. Yunho's father then introduced the concept of danshin, a vital point within the body that serves as the core for cultivating qi and martial arts. He meticulously explained that mastering the danshin was an essential prerequisite for effectively practicing martial arts. Yunho, attempting to grasp this new concept, likened the danshin to a fox bead, a fantastical object from folklore. However, his father clarified the key distinction. Unlike a removable fox bead, the danshin was an inseparable part of the body. Yunho and Mr. Jiang prepared to create his danshin. With a mix of nervousness and anticipation, Yunho settled into a lotus position, closing his eyes and following the Lord's instructions. The Lord, his voice radiating power, informed Yunho that he would first pierce his blocked meridian to allow for the flow of qi. Take a deep breath, the Lord commanded. Yunho inhaled deeply, bracing himself for the procedure. Suddenly, instead of the anticipated sensation, a wave of intense pain erupted within him. He coughed violently, a spray of blood erupting from his mouth before he crumpled to the ground. Mr. Jiang rushed to his side, his face etched with worrying. The Lord, maintaining his composure, ordered Mr. Jiang to fetch the doctor immediately. The doctor arrived swiftly, his brow furrowing in concern as he examined Yunho. After a thorough examination, the doctor straightened up, a hint of bewilderment in his voice. There are no signs of external injuries. In fact, he's in remarkably good health. Yunho's father, Lord Jiang, scoffed. Good health, he coughed up blood and fainted. Explain that, the doctor cleared his throat. Lord Jiang, this might be a rare side effect. It appears a large amount of internal qi has gathered in his danshin at once. Lord Jiang's eyes widened. Internal qi, but that's impossible. Yunho has never even practiced cultivation techniques, let alone with a non-existent danshin. The doctor nodded. Indeed, that is the peculiarity. The energy seems to have accumulated throughout his body's veins, bypassing the danshin. However, the amount is unlike anything I've ever encountered. He possesses an enormous amount of internal qi, and his yin and yang meridians seem to be in perfect harmony. This revelation sent a jolt through both Lord Jiang and Mr. Jiang. The doctor, sensing their astonishment, gestured towards Yunho. Feel for yourself, Lord Jiang. The concentration of Qi in his dantian is unlike anything I've seen. Lord Jiang hesitantly placed his hand over Yunho's dantian. A gasp escaped his lips as he felt a surge of energy unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was far denser and purer than his own Qi, cultivated over for decades. It pulsed with an intensity that spoke of 120 years of accumulated power. Just then, an old man with a weathered face and knowing eyes appeared at the main gate. Yunho, he boomed, his voice surprisingly strong for his aged appearance. You've grown considerably since I last saw you. Yunho's eyes fluttered open, coming to rest on an unfamiliar scene. Disoriented, he tried to recall what had happened. A gruff voice echoed in his ears, so, you want to learn martial arts? He whipped around, his gaze landing on the old man from the doorway. Who are you? Yunho demanded, his voice laced with suspicion. The old man chided Yunho for staring blankly and reminded him of proper etiquette when meeting his master. Yunho, bewildered by the frail-looking old man, expressed doubt about his ability to teach martial arts. He argued that he would decide who his master would be. Before he could finish, the old man grabbed Yunho and flew away, making him unconscious. Yunho awoke to find an old man standing before him. He scoffed, remarking that the man seemed weaker than he'd anticipated. Lacking any manners, Yunho launched an attack, but the old man effortlessly deflected it, sending Yunho flying. This sequence repeated itself. No matter how many times Yunho attacked, he was sent sprawling. The old man finally proposed a challenge. If Yunho could grab his collar, he would be free to go. However, if he failed, he would have to become the old man's disciple without question. Yunho scoffed again. Why should I participate in such a childish bet, especially for something I don't desire? He questioned. The old man gestured towards his clothes. Yunho, prideful as ever, believed he didn't need a teacher. He charged forward, lunging for the old man's clothes. In a single, fluid motion, the old man evaded Yunho's grasp. He was surprised, however, by the whirlwind created by Yunho's inexperienced attack. He likened Yunho's speed to a rabbit. Landing gracefully, the old man easily dodged another attack, earning a laugh from himself. Frustrated, Yunho grabbed a rock and hurled it at the old man. The old man dodged the projectile with ease, but Yunho seized the opportunity to attack. The old man maneuvered out of the way, but Yunho, anticipating his movement, cut him off and managed to grab him. The old man, finding Yunho unexpectedly resourceful, chuckled and called him a rather interesting boy. However, he pointed out that Yunho's attacks did no real damage. He then countered with his own attack, sending Yunho flying once more. The scene shifted to the main courtyard. The old man addressed Yunho's father, explaining that his son possessed an innate martial temperament. He even claimed Yunho surpassed his younger brother, who was renowned for being born with the temperament of a warrior. Yunho's father's eyes widened in recognition. Are you referring to your younger brother, the former head of the Namgang family and leader of the Muram Alliance? He asked, his voice brimming with pride as he added the man's name to the prestigious list, the 24 martial artist masters, the strongest warriors in all of Muram. Sword King Namgang Jin. A glint of amusement flickered in the old man's eyes. Indeed, he chuckled. I had hoped to train Yunho into an exceptional warrior and unveil him to the world, but fate seems to have intervened with my plans. We then returned to Yunho's room, where he sat deep in thought. The encounter with the old man had left a profound impact on him. A newfound determination steeled his resolve. He wouldn't simply let this opportunity slip away. With newfound purpose, Yunho stormed out of his room and blocked the exit. His gaze fixed firmly on Namgang Jin, he demanded, How? Why weren't my attacks effective? Teach me, I want to learn everything. And with a deep bow, he addressed the legendary warrior with a newfound respect. Master.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more.